there's a lot of things that needs to be considered, like his family, and technically his life is on your hands. Like how you manage
Yeah,
him will
yeah,
start the new course of his life, the new path that he will take, right?
yeah, yeah. So in a way, why I love this job, especially in headhunting, one thing is it makes you so sensitive towards people importance. Because one thing when it comes to sales, it's very much about the money.
Mm,
Money is great, right? I mean, if you can excel in sales, money is great, right? I was fortunate. I was able to have able to enjoy the luxury of it. But
good.
the first year itself was so difficult
Mm-hmm.
because there's just so many things that you can't control. Like I
Right.
have an incident where a candidate that tell me that when she accepted the job and then she's supposed to join the new company in a month time, right? And
Mm.
she told me that her mom passed away.
And she can continue.
So she can't continue because she doesn't want to continue working. How are
Ah,
you supposed to? So right now it's not about the job anymore, right? It's
right.
about the candidate's mother, right? How are you supposed to convince somebody that is going through such emotional stage
And
and
how
you
did you
make
do
them
it? And what did you do?
so that's why this sales cycle is very long. When it comes to the
Ah,
converse, that's why I talk about relationship building. It's
mm,
all about building relationship. When it like you mentioned about authenticity, about the trust, it is so important. You're talking about people's mom passed away. You're talking about jumping off, changing people's career. That person has to trust you in terms of what you say to make sure that they stick to that decision. My job is to make them think that this is the career that they want, right? Of course, it's always not going to be as easy, right? Sometimes there are some certain circumstances where company A promised them this A, B, C, D, E. But
right.
when they join, they only provide A, B, C.
There's
That
a
is
lot of like
that is
that.
it is normal, right? I mean, you have been working for other people when it comes to clients' expectations, etc. There's so many things that change.
Right, right.
So so for me, that's why relationship building is so important. The trust, the authenticity, how you approach people. You're calling people and you tell them, hey, do you want to jump your career? You don't call people and do that. You don't call people and do that. So how do you turn around from it and try to convince people? That's a skill.
Wow, man, that's like a secret being unveiled. What what are your tips? Tips for everyone that is watching that have the heart to start a career in sales, or people that are already in that same business.
Good question. When it comes to, I was pointing out for people who want to start in sales.
Okay.
For people who start in sales, first of all, you must really identify that you are willing to put in the work.
Mm,
Because when it comes to sales, putting in the work is one thing, right? You definitely must. There's a lot of different factors, but I talk about putting in the work is because it's just like building a business where during your first year, if you have a product, you won't be able to attract a lot of people to buy from you. You have to nurture people. So why I talk about you have to put in the work is because relationships have to be built, and in a 1 year time, it's gonna be a very, very long process. You are not gonna be just building one client. You need to build 100 clients. Out of the 100 clients, 10 people that buy from you, and you have 90 rejections. Are you ready to accept that or not? So it's a lot about you trying to really make sure that you have what it takes to go through all of that kind of rejections. Because let's say if you're in a relationship, right? And you have a girlfriend that you have been together with for the 3 years. Are you stuck in that relationship and just you don't find another new relationship? That is
right,
one emotional stage. This is something that you face in sales as well, because
right.
definitely there are gonna be people that will reject you, right? So how are you gonna put yourself out of it? But first of all, you need to have the enthusiasm
I
and
like
the
that.
yeah.
just a follow-up question. You mentioned that you need to be prepared in, handling rejection, disappointments. How do you manage disappointments? I'm sure when you were starting, you mentioned earlier that you encountered a lot of, rejections. You encountered a lot of disappointments. How did you handle those?
It 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 wasn't easy to handle because when you have never experienced rejection before, especially when it comes to a very, very crucial sales, you just don't know what to expect, right? So how I was able to develop that was because I got too many rejections already. How I was able to, honestly, I made my first sale only when I've been in my career for the first 6 months.
For
So
the first 6 months?
I wasn't able to earn anything at all. I was only eating basic salary and there was no commission.
Why? Like your clients, your target rejected you?
Yes. So one thing when it comes to people, when it comes to disappointment and etc., right? You need to have a person that, especially in the sales environment, it's toxic, right? Because there's a lot of KPIs and etc. that you have to manage. You need a buddy for you to actually hang out with. Honestly, it's just like a pun. You need somebody that you can rant to, talk to, and the best person is always gonna be your manager or something, right? I would definitely advise find a support system. Let them, because you can't just go to another person, hey, I got rejected today, and you feel down about it. Because once you are able to pass this message to another person that has also a similar feeling, they will be able to relate to you and you will feel the same because it's a nature. It's a nature. And I honestly, the first 6 months for me, right, I almost quit. It's the worst feeling ever. Like, because when it comes to sales, you want to be the best, right? There's a certain kind of ego, right? Because if you don't bring in sales, why do you want to be? If you can't bring in the money, why do you want to be in sales, right? So it's a long process. Yeah.
What advice can you give for our listeners?
First thing, when you join a new company, when you go into a sales, find out who is the top performer and go and ask them to mentor you. Do whatever it takes to understand what is the sales process. When you're in sales, different products have many different sales process, right? When it comes to how you approach the sale, right? Because if I sell a Gucci product, like a retail product, how I approach a customer is going to be different in comparison to how I am in a headhunting firm, right? But identify who are the top performers. Ask them to teach you and guide you, and ask them to allow you to shadow them when they are in a conversation with the customer.
Wow. Yeah. Makes sense, man.
That is how you learn from people, because why they are able to do it, it's because they have been through it and they know how to approach it. Why do you want to go through the hard road and go and learn and fail? For me, that was my biggest mistake at my early stage. I didn't go to people. I tried to learn things by myself. It's a mistake. There's nobody that is not willing to help you if you ask.
Wow.
Unless if you don't ask, nobody's going to help you.